Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. I am very excited for today's reaction. I have been having trouble actually waiting to listen to this album until I had time to record the reaction. I have been looking forward to this album now for a few years. And if this is your first time here on the channel, know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Frost up front, but then I want to get into the music pretty fast. And then I'm going to listen all the way through the album from front to back. In this case, it's a double album. We're going to do both sides, both albums, part one and part two. And then I'm going to do my sort of overall thoughts at the end. So in the description, you'll notice I have timestamps on the timeline. You can skip to any different section of the video you want to. If you have a favorite song, whatever, skip wherever you want. I will probably be doing some talking over the music, so just be prepared for that. I'm going to be doing this reaction here by myself. However, it's pretty late at night actually, and I have a scheduled recording with one of my friends tomorrow. And so while I'm recording with Chris tomorrow, I listen to the first half of this and it's so awesome. I may have him join me for the second half of the album, which I know would be kind of weird. But we'll see, and it would be very obvious if that's the case. But for now, I'm going to just plan on doing this whole album by myself, and that's fine. A lot of the times here on the channel, I do have people reacting with me. We do generally tend to do full albums rather than individual songs, though we have been doing more singles and individual songs recently. But I have not heard a single song from this album. I have not heard a second from this album. I'm going to try to use the audio from the album so that you're in the video so that you're hearing exactly what I'm hearing. But that all depends on Frost and how they have their settings and their copyright settings set on YouTube. Most bands have it so that basically any ad revenue that's made from a video, all the ad revenue from that video goes to that band. So that's how it is with Metallica. That's how it is with, like I would say, 90% of all the bands that I react to here on the channel. Almost 100% of the videos here on the channel that I have, I do not put ads on. I cannot. If you see ads on any of my videos, they are going to whoever's band has music in the video. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm hoping that that's the case with Frost as well, and that they have their music set so that I can use the music in the video and you can actually hear what I'm hearing. And then the revenue from the video or whatever, which probably won't be any, but whatever revenue there is would just go to Frost instead of to me. That's generally how it works here on the channel with almost everything. But if there is definitely a chance that they have their music set that I will not be able to use the music. So if that is the case and the video gets blocked when I try to upload it, I'm going to edit the whole video the way I always do with the music included. And when I upload it, if it gets blocked worldwide, I unfortunately will have to upload the video with no music in it, and that is very annoying. I know it's absolutely terrible, but I will count down the songs when I start and stop so that you can listen along with me if you're able to. I know it's sort of frustrating to do that if you're watching this video on your phone or on your TV or your PlayStation or your computer. You know, certain devices make it easier to load another tab and then just have the music playing when I'm playing so you can kind of hear along with what I'm hearing. I know it's super frustrating. It all just depends on the settings. If I listen to this album and it's terrible and I don't like it and I think the production is really bad, I may decide not to finish it. I may decide never to upload this. I've had that happen several times this year with certain albums. And it just becomes a matter of time. You know, do I want to put this 6 or 7 hours of editing into, maybe not 6 or 7. If I record the video and it's 3 hours long, this is a double album, so it'll be quite long. But if it's like, say 2 hours long, and then I edit the video, it'll probably take 4 hours to edit or so, maybe 3.5 hours to edit it. Then it'll take probably, I would say, 18 to 20 hours to render it. I'll let it do it overnight at some point, and then half of a day or so. It's just a lot of time to dedicate to a video that's negative, that probably people will get mad at me in the comments, and that I didn't enjoy in the first place. So if you're seeing this, though, it probably means, and I'm very doubtful that I will hate this. I'm very hopeful that I will like it a lot based on all the other Frost music that I've heard. So Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully all that stuff makes sense. I try to go through some of that stuff at the front of the video so people, understand what's happening. Hopefully when you click around on the video, or if you watch the whole thing, which thank you very much if that is something you're doing, when we get to the music, hopefully you can hear along with me. If not, you'll hear maybe a little bleed from my headphones, but that's not enough. It's not satisfying, and I totally get it. But I can only do what I can do in order to get the video uploaded. So before we get started, I just want to say I have my glass here with some ice. There's just blue raspberry frozen ice, frozen drink in here. And I am, for this video, going to drink, I have a couple of Mountain Dew Freedom Fusions left. So I am going to go ahead and do this. And while I'm pouring this, I'll say, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Look around the channel. We do lots of different interesting things here. We are known for being more of a Metallica-based channel the last few years, more metal-based. I don't know if people consider Frost to be a prog metal band or a prog rock band. When I was introduced to them on Falling Satellites, that was my first Frost album, Falling Satellites. I actually think the thing that drew me into this album was the electronic elements of it. And the fact that I thought that the singer sounded very much like one of my favorite electronic artists, BT. And then also the song Tower Block and Lights Out very much reminded me of parts of BT songs that I absolutely love. So that's kind of how I found this band and how I fell in love with them. And then over time, I've grown to appreciate them a little bit more. And, I've been able to hopefully get into them a little bit more. But if you're someone who's followed the channel, you've been watching this intro so far, thank you so much for listening to me on forever, like I do. If you're unfamiliar with Frost, this is the band that I would consider to be having gotten me into over the last 4 or 5 years, getting into prog progressive music. This is the band that basically shattered what I thought prog music was in my head that was preventing me from ever listening to it or giving it a chance. Frost is the band that was like, hold up, wait a minute. This is what prog music actually can be and is in some cases. And so I've been really expanding my musical horizons to try to find prog bands that I enjoy. And I'm not going back in time very much. I'm looking for more modern things because that's one of the things I love about Frost. But as I said, I heard Falling Satellites, and I absolutely love this album. The second half of the album, the sunlight part of the album, and then this is the version with Lantern and British Wintertime on it that I have. That the second half of the album I wasn't too excited about, but I loved First Day, Numbers, Tower Block, Signs, Lights Out. Fantastic. The first half of this album is phenomenal. When I first heard the second half of the album, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's not really my thing as much. And so I when I would listen to this album, I would just listen to the first half, at least for the most part. And then I stumbled across something online. I started listening to some of their older stuff on Spotify. I heard Million Town, and I was like, this is very interesting. And right around that time, they released something called 13 Winters, which I happen to have right here. So if you're watching this video and you are a Frost fan, you may or may not be aware of what this is. But this is one of my most prized possessions in my musical collection, which, if you're new to the channel here and you're unaware, I collect CDs. I have a collection of over 3,500 CDs, a vast, vast majority of which I specifically sought out and found and purchased. I worked at a record store for quite a long time, and I bought many, 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 many CDs over the 7-8 years that I worked there. And I also buy just like batches of CDs when I find them now at garage sales or wherever I can find them, because it's getting harder to find them. And that is how I found Frost, actually. I found them by purchasing Falling Satellites from somewhere. I found it somewhere, and I looked it up, and I thought, this sounds interesting enough, bought it, and then, everything that I've basically said so far. And so in my collection that I have fully uploaded to Discogs, which my name is just Patrick Musilek, I believe, on Discogs. If you want to search for me, you can find my whole collection and look there. I also have lots of vinyl records just sitting around. I also have a somewhat nice collection of movies and anime and stuff like that. And I have lots of books as well, but I focus on CDs. I have CDs everywhere here at the house. And I absolutely adore listening to music on CDs. It is how I still primarily listen to all the music that I do listen to. I have a portable CD player and my headphones that are the two most important things that I have in my life. But anyway, in my collection, this Frost 13 Winters collection, I saw on Amazon, and I purchased new. I believe at the time it was $38. So when this first came out, I saw it. I was relatively new to the band. This is in 2020. I was relatively newly introduced to the band, and I was like, this is a way for me to go back in time, purchase all of their albums. And at the time, they had just released their Others EP, which I'll show you what this is here, this whole set. So this is their first 4 albums. Uh-oh, this disc is missing. Which disc? Oh, this is Million Town. I have this Million Town is... I must have this in a separate CD case because it's kind of annoying to put it back in here. So I must have this one. I should have had it in here for this video. Sorry about that. But I must have it in a separate CD case. But this has Million Town and then Experiments in Mass Appeal, both remastered, and then Falling Satellites remastered, and Falling Satellites Instrumental remastered. And then it also has, and the Others EP is missing as well, and this is the main thing I wanted to show you. So I have both of these discs right now sitting somewhere else. I've been listening to Frost a little bit more over the last couple months as I've been getting excited for this. So we have Falling Saddle Live up here. This is a live performance of Falling Satellites and a couple of other songs as well. Then we have the Philadelphia Experiment, which is also another live performance of theirs. And then This and That, which features different songs. And then this disc over here, which is missing, which I'm embarrassed to say is not in here. It actually might be over here in my copy of... Did I put it in here? No. It's not in my copy of Day and Age. Okay, anyway, that's sort of embarrassing. But I've been listening to it, so it's just sitting in another case at the moment right now, somewhere with another CD residing in there. Usually I'm pretty good about putting stuff back, but... There's also a giant book in here full of all sorts of interesting artwork and everything, as you can see. This is absolutely incredible, and I bought this, and then I listened to all of these discs, and this allowed me to fall in love with this band. And one of the main reasons I bought it was because I didn't have any of the only album of theirs I had was Falling Satellites. And so this got me everything they had released up to that point, including the physical CD of their Others EP. Which is, here, I'll try to find the artwork for it in here since I don't have the disc. Stupid microphone in my way. I want to be careful with this because it's so expensive. There's Experiments in Mass Appeal. Oh. Here we go. So this is the image that's on the disc for the Others EP. And that EP, I think, is my favorite collected work of theirs, collective, like, single project of theirs. It has 6 songs on it: Fathers, Clouda, Exhibit A, Fathom, Eat, and Drown. And Eat is, in my opinion, maybe one of my favorite songs of all time, and I think it's my favorite song that they've done. For those of you who are unaware, haven't heard that one, it's mainly based around samples that Jem Godfrey, the primary songwriter and one of the main performers of Frost, he had I believe it was his wife or someone, a female, come into the studio and record some vocal sounds. And then he made an entire song based around that, and I absolutely adore that. As an audio engineer, as someone who has edited and edited a lot of speech, and I love that song, and I like a lot of things that they do technically. And I'm nowhere near, like, I am an audio engineer, but nowhere. I mean, like, I'm a thousandth of a percentile of the talent that these guys have, that Jem Godfrey has at putting all of this stuff together. And so I'm just going to assume that if you're here, you're probably watching this video, you're already a Frost fan. I have this. This is one of the most amazing things I have. I promise I do have the other discs. I just have them in CD cases right now. I could probably go find them right away because I'm sure I know where they are. But this is something that's very special, very important to me, and it helped me fall in love with the band, hear all of their music in the best way that they possibly, everything can possibly sound. So that was why I was so excited. In the booklet for that, it says that they were currently in 2020, when that was released, they were currently working on material for their next 2 albums. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And so then a few years later, in 2021, the following year, we have Day and Age released. And this came out, and I have to be honest, I was a little disappointed with this album. I think it's a little bland compared to Falling Satellites, and especially compared to the Others EP. I feel like on the Others EP, they took a lot more risks, and they tried a little bit more experimenting with sounds, but the songs are all still very well written. The song structuring is all very enjoyable. Everything comes back to a chorus. The quality of the production of everything is fantastic, but I feel like they were allowed to be a little bit more creative. I feel like with Day and Age, it's a little bit more straightforward. It's consistent across the album, and I like the ideas that they were playing with, but I don't feel like it holds my attention as much, and the longer songs on here are not, as, in my opinion, as enjoyable as some of the longer songs that they've done in the past. I do think that Kill the Orchestra and Repeat to Fade, the 2 final songs on here, are probably the 2 best songs. But honestly, the whole thing is enjoyable to listen to for the most part. It's just not my favorite of their albums. So I do have this as well. And then I thought, okay, well, that's come out. Maybe I can't wait to see what the next thing is. And now we've been waiting. And here we are with Life in the Wires. And so this is a double album. I haven't looked into this at all in terms of the making of the album or anything like that, because I didn't want to hear any of this. I wanted this to be oh, there, my ice broke off right there. I wanted this to be a true reaction to my first time hearing any of this. So I have had the CD sitting in my Amazon cart for now like a month. I was going to pre-order this quite a while ago. The album itself, I believe, came out 2 weeks ago, maybe last week. Time is a little bit weird for me, especially this year, and everything with all the stuff that's gone on. But I have not heard a second of this. I don't know that much about it. Please feel free to leave comments letting me know, like, are there different personnel on this album playing? Are there different people, that have joined the band? Is it the same guys that have been with the band for a while? I assume the primary songwriter is still Jem Godfrey, and that he's the one sort of driving the force. And then we have, I'm assuming, the same guys that have been with him doing the vocals and everything. So I'm assuming it's not going to sound that different. But I'm hoping that there's a little bit more variety. Since it's a double album, I'm hoping that they were able to take some risks. I was looking, I do have, we're just going to be listening on Spotify to this right now because I haven't purchased the album yet. So I know the WAV files for this are going to sound incredible. I don't know if there's like a deluxe, like surround sound version of this out there. There might be. I'm not too sure. But I probably don't have any way to listen to that really anyway. So we're just going to listen to it on Spotify. I have the premium version of Spotify, so we're going to be listening to, I assume, 320 kilobit, whatever their high bit rate is. We're going to do the first disc right now, and then I'm going to probably take a break because it's 10 p.m. right now as I'm recording this, and it'll probably take me till 11 at least to get done with this first disc. So then I'll record the rest tomorrow, whether it's with Chris or by myself. So let's just go ahead and get into this. I am very, very excited for this. Hopefully you can tell. It looks like the first half of the disc, we're going to start with Skywaving, which seems to be about 2 minutes long and is probably an intro to the album. Then we have a bunch of songs that are around, we have a couple songs that are around 5 to 5.5 minutes, or 5.5 to 6.5 minutes. Then we have an 8-minute song, a 5-minute song, a 5-minute song, and then a 4-minute song, and then we're going to take a break. So let's just go ahead and get into this and see what happens. This is Frost with their album Life in the Wires from 2024. Right now it is November 1st as I'm recording this. And we will be starting with track 1, Skywaving, in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. So that sounded almost like waves at first, and then I believe it was some sort of static or white noise. I love that sort of bell part. Almost reminiscent of like an 80s horror movie. Vocals sound basically the same they have as long as I've known this band. Not lagging too bad, I don't think. I should say I am not this incredible musician, so I think a lot of the incredible technical musicianship and amazing songcraft may go right over my head. But there's reasons I like this band. Maybe they're different than the reason. Okay, right into... Whoa. I wonder if that was Morse code. Ooh, I liked that, though. That was really cool. That sounded like a Morse code beep in there. So this is track 2, Life in the Wires, part 1. Oh, part 2 of this, Life in the Wires, part 2, is the penultimate track. So maybe we have like a cyclical thing going. Yep, sounds great, like I knew it would. Drums sound fantastic, very upfront. You can hear the room and the cymbals a lot though, which is nice. Kind of grounds everything. Bass sounds great. Piano. The vocals are a smidge quiet, I want to say. Turn it up a little bit. The drums and the bass are quite loud in the middle. And the vocals are very laid back. That's how all the vocals for Frost are. Ooh, yeah, let's go. Yeah, give me those keyboards. It's definitely Morse code in there. That's what my grandfather did during World War II. He was a Morse code operator. He used... I don't think I have it up here anymore. I had his microphone that he used on the ship. No, I don't have it here anymore. It's sitting on the shelf over there, I think. Ooh, the tom hits are just nice. Whoa. Guitar, maybe? Nice. Guitar and keyboard maybe together. Going back to the chorus. Hello, hello. Hopefully. Piano, is that the bell part from the intro? Something similar? Love the piano. Okay. Very nice. I like it. I like this. I like it. I feel like I should whisper. Okay, now we're into track 3. The House of Winter. Let's go. But looking back, there's only me. I'm really bad with time signatures that aren't 3/4 or 4/4. So I can feel the groove, but I don't think I could count it out. A little beyond me. It's probably really simple, but I'm pretty dumb. So love this. Sometimes it's right to face the weather. There's that kind of constant layer of vocoders behind. Nice. Pretty common for Frost since Falling Satellites. There we go. The kick drum is so punchy. It's very nice. I don't feel like it's missing lows, but it's not overly boomy, which is nice. Yeah. Love the little crunchiness in there. Oh yeah. The wah pedal in there. Godsmack. Very dynamic. You can feel everything coming back down and people playing quietly. It's very nice. Vocals quiet too.
But time's a thief, you used to say. I'll make my home this house of winter. Growing colder in your name.
Returning to that kind of bell sound. Love that. Would love that that's a kind of a recurring theme across the album. I love bell sounds, glockenspiel, all that kind of acoustic guitar. Hi-hat. This is beautiful. Yeah. Strings, which could all be programmed, probably are, doesn't matter at this point. Sounds fantastic, and I don't think that real strings are much better anymore nowadays than, programmed strings. And I don't think using programmed strings is like a negative in any way, or any programmed elements. This is very cinematic. I love it. I feel like this song didn't really have a chorus so much. Definitely not structured. Typical ABA style structuring, which is what I vastly prefer, but I wasn't necessarily expecting that much with Frost, though they do tend to give you that when it is a complete thought. So far, I definitely feel like these first 3 tracks have all kind of gone together, bled from one into the next, which is very nice. Maybe the whole album will do that, I don't know. Maybe we'll have some clear endings and some clear beginnings and some new thoughts. Okay. This is the Solid State Orchestra. There we go.
Sky starts to drifting slowly in and out of focus.
Distorted background vocal there, very nice.
Secret world that no one lives to find. Your people pass beyond the door. They never understand it all. Caught up in that superficial lie. I'm searching for the signals of survivors. I'm looking for those falling satellites.
Oh,
They call this life. They call this life. It's all
I love the sounds that I'm hearing. Let's build it, baby. Love it. Let's go. Oh yeah. Keyboard solo. Ooh. Those toms, nice. Oh, it's so neat how it can go. Right? Build and then just settle down for a breath. I mean, this is great. Very dynamic. Very cinematic. Again, not structured at all like a typical song. So, to me, that's a bit of a negative, but I'm very much enjoying what I'm hearing. So, I just have to kind of change my mindset, think of it as a giant piece of music rather than individual songs.
As I played the game but failed the test. In paradise we're paralyzed. We're blinded by those pretty lights. I see it everywhere I go. I found myself an antidote. So I will walk right out of here. Can't take this poison up.
I like that the piano is pretty much a consistent so far throughout the album. That it's been piano, bass, drums, with accents of guitar throughout. And then obviously lots of little other things kind of flitting around.
I'll rent the ropes and burn the boats. This greatest day I've ever known. You can take my place and take my clothes. You can take it all. I'm going home. Going home.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Love the stabs. Okay, now we're into Evaporator.
Hello. This is Live Wire. Got a little dust blowing up here. I hope you can still hear me. I guess we're surfing that skywave right over the horizon tonight. Settle back and enjoy the ride.
Nice. Okay, interesting delay there on, I think, his piano. Oh, yeah.
This gentle art of disappearing by making sense of your confinement. Remember what you're doing it for. Yeah. The simple act of interfering with the constraint of your environment. When you can't take it anymore.
I love how big it can feel and then how
Is around me.
perfect contained it can feel.
You won't see my face
Ooh.
round here no more. You're a plastic god with a torn paper crown. I am done with this town, this town. Evaporate. I will leave no note, so you won't find out. I am gone from this town, evaporate.
Okay.
I've set my sights
It's so interesting. There's like these big moments and then it just kind of blooms and then fades. It's not a continuation of the big. There's no riff, right? It's not like there's no chugging. It's just, which is very interesting.
all around me are still sleeping. And when the town is still in silence, that's when I will melt into the void. Feelings around me to try another life. There's nothing here to keep me anymore. You're a plastic god with a torn paper crown. I am done with this town, evaporate. I will leave no note, so you won't find out. I am gone from this town. Sometimes it feels like it's
Awesome.
too high.
Love the sound effects. The town sound effects.
Madness was sold as a life. Sometimes it falls
A bit more vocals in this song, which I really like.
and everything's gone in
Yes, harmony. I love it.
You're a plastic
Bit more drive now, right? Yes. Yes, this is my favorite song on the album so far. Nice. It just sounds so nice. It sounds so big and enormous, but it's not like crazy over compressed. It's exactly what it needs to be to get the desired effect, which is this like big wall and then this like feeling of coming down. It's very interesting. I really respect it for what it's doing a lot. Oh yes, I love when they futz with the whole stereo track audio. I'm curious if this song is gonna kind of go into the next one like we've been doing.
This is Live Wire. Coming to you every hour. On the hour. And then where's that from?
It did. This is Strange World.
The future is closing in. We commit to the willing sin. In this chaos I turn away. I observe but I will not play. You treat me with no regret. Won't forgive and you won't forget. I am trapped in a poison space. Think we're losing this human race. We live in a strange world. Oh.
Okay.
We live in a strange world.
I'm excited to see where this goes because I do really like their more ballady songs. Like I said, Lights Out was a really fantastic song,
Writing was on the wall.
which does have a nice beat to it, so I'm curious. I think they have a song on Million Town called Snowman or something like that, that is kind of more of a ballad. But the vocals are very present here, right? They're very much more in the mix than when it's chaotic and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Darkness takes hold of light, and we return to the pointless fight. We live in a strange world.
Nice. This is kind of reminding me of Mad World by, well, the Donnie Darko version. Also, when someone says strange in a song, I think of Strange Love by Depeche Mode, which this is really nothing like. Some ominous stuff going on there. Big, thick, low frequencies. And then kind of pretty strings in there. It's very nice. It's kind of a juxtaposition of... I think there's some different strings in there, though. It's kind of, because you can hear that kind of the like resin on the string, as on the bows as they're doing that. I'm not sure what that's called, the very fast tremolo-y more. It sure sounds like real strings to me. If I had the CD, I could check the credits. I will get the CD. At this point, it's already good enough to purchase it.
We live in a strange world. We live in a strange world.
I'm glad they came back to the chorus.
We live in a strange world.
Massive. So well done. Fade out. Bummer there. I've got my fade out board here somewhere. But my piece of chalk is over there, so.
Voice of the free.
But I would definitely call that a fade
Tonight
out.
we're taking calls. I'm just kidding.
Idiot box. Alright, wow. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of Alan Wake. The radio aspect of it. Yes.
Everything has changed around me once again. Those smiling eyes no longer smiling, and my friends are not my friends. I have the cold resolve to see this out until the bitter end. But staying here right now is not something that I would recommend. Do or die, fight or flight.
Nice.
Welcome to the show where no one listens. We'll spell it out again. Don't want to know
They're so cynical.
your opinions. So we'll get
And I love that. I'm very cynical as well. Oh. So stab kind of things are back, and I love it.
You wanna take me down for hearing voices on my radio, but I have seen your way of life and thank you, I don't wanna know. You feed the people food and fear to keep them all compliant.
interesting. I heard some samples in there, obviously, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Such an interesting guitar part here over the chorus. It's a very chaotic sounding song. Very cool. Oh no! No, not again! Don't make me get up and get the chalk. I gotta get a new board out. I know they said they don't want my opinion, but my opinion is there's no good reason to ever fade a song out ever.
Here I have an acolyte inbound. Hello, my friend, if you're listening.
So right now we're on 2 fade outs.
Hope you find what you're looking for.
Terrible, unacceptable. 1 song fading out is unacceptable. That's very disappointing to me. That will impact my opinion of the album overall. Alright, so now we're into track 8, the halfway point, Absent Friends. I think Absent Friends? Yeah.
Standing in the home that once was mine, completely. Close your eyes and say a prayer for just when I think you.
Strings and piano, obviously very nice. Vocals very loud. Quite a bit louder than they were in the previous track, but it still feels nice. Doesn't feel wrong. The last track had a lot more going on.
Looking back at my so-called life, it all looked so easy. Broken toys to broken hearts fell apart.
Beautiful.
So gently.
Just gorgeous. Now these are probably synth strings. Sounds fantastic though. Again, not making a judgment, I just like to note. And I could totally be wrong. It sounds phenomenal.
Keep on walking. Time can heal, but nothing really lasts. touch them just as you reach out to touch them. Try with all your might, but they're gone. They're gone.
You're tuned into Live Wire. Ghost to the east, playing Spirit of the west. Man, this stuff just writes itself.
Okay, so that is the first half. Man, this stuff just writes itself, and then bing, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay, so very awesome. Interesting, the radio aspect of this, the radio show aspect called Live Wire. That reminds me a lot of Alan Wake, which is a game I just beat for the very first time, just played and completed for the first time within the last month. It was incredible. And it's now, I think, in my top 5 maybe favorite games of all time, for sure top 10. But when you listen to the radio program in that show to kind of like continue sort of background story in terms of what's happening in the community and stuff in the game, it's very interesting. And this reminded me of that, because there's definitely a bit of like ominous feeling throughout the album, even though there's lots of gorgeous, beautiful parts. There's definitely that Frost sort of like cynicism and sarcastic sort of nature running through everything. But I do feel like there were also moments of genuineness there as well. And I really enjoyed that first half a lot. The only thing I can really... Well, I mentioned earlier that Frost was the band that shattered the walls in my mind that I had put up, the barriers that I had put up to say, like, no, let's not listen to prog music. Because I had assumed that prog music was long songs that might connect together from song to song, but there weren't choruses, there weren't definable parts, there weren't repeating parts, and each song was not necessarily its own journey. That was what I thought. And then I heard Falling Satellites, and I was like, oh, I was wrong. Now, that might not be the greatest example, although the second half of that album, all of that, even though the Sunlight part, it is still, those songs, I believe, are, it's Heartstrings, Closer to the Sun, Raging Against the Dying of the Light, Blues in 7/8, Nice Day for It, Hypoventilate, and I think Hyperventilate is another thing they did too, and then Last Day. Those are all part, I believe, of the Sunlight song, or opus, or whatever they call it. But the fact that they have them on separate tracks, you can listen to those as their own thing, and some of them do end, some of them do clearly start, and they are sort of their own journeys. They might all be one continuous sort of thought, but they have their own beginnings and ends. And the rest of the songs on there are all normal songs that I would say are structured normally. And that was why I fell in love with this band, because I was like, oh, if this is what prog music is, then I have been wrong. And so since then, I've expanded out a little bit. I am certainly no expert by any means in terms of prog music, and I can't even really give you other good examples of things that I've found. I've been listening to bands that do longer music. I've been listening to bands that kind of break into having prog elements. But, like Disillusion would be an example that comes out, but that's much more metal, and I enjoy that aspect of them. They're a German prog metal band. I really enjoyed their music. Lots of stuff. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to list things, but Frost has been a special band for me. And so hearing the first half of this album felt to me more like you needed to think of it. I've only heard one Pink Floyd album, and it was Dark Side of the Moon. And I was very disappointed with it. I was just like, wow, this is not what I expected at all. And I was like, this isn't real music. Like, it's music, but it's music. It's not pop music. It's not contemporary music. This is like abstract. It's a Picasso painting, right? It's not clear cut. Each track is not its own journey that you go on. It's a single piece that you have to think of it as a single long piece. And I personally don't prefer that as much. And I do feel like you have to think of at least most of disc one of the first half of this album that way. Every song kind of connects to the next one. Now they are breaking it up with that like radio thing, so I believe it almost feels like each track is supposed to be its own song within the context of them playing them like on this radio broadcast. So if you're listening to the radio, you hear a song and then another song, and then the announcer comes in and does their little bit, and then they play another song and a commercial and a song and all this and whatnot. But the music that we're hearing here and the way that everything kind of connects from track to track, it ends and then leads into the next thing, it makes me feel like it should be considered this whole half should be considered sort of like part one of this whole thing. And maybe the whole thing does connect because it did go right into this next song. But I don't particularly care for that as much as if each song was its own separate thing with its own ABA style structure. That's what I prefer. And I know a lot of people don't like that. Probably a lot of people who love prog music are like, you're wrong, you're pathetic, you're a normie, go back to listening to Britney Spears and NSYNC, whom I do also love as well. And I understand that sentiment, but that's just my personal preference and taste. So I don't think that I necessarily enjoyed the first half of this album as much as I could have if the songs were a little bit more structured. That being said, there were several songs that did go back to a third chorus. I enjoyed those. I liked the dynamic feel of the first half of the album. I liked how they teased us with things getting big and then would let them get back down again. I really enjoyed that. I think track 3 was fantastic in terms of the quality. Sound quality has been really good. I do think the vocals have gotten drowned out by the music at points quite a bit, but it's not so much so that it ruins anything for me. And I almost believe that it's intentional that you're supposed to try to reach into the music to pull them out. But the fact that you can have quiet songs where the loudest thing you're hearing is the vocal, and then these huge bombastic, maybe not bombastic, these very chaotic, more traditional rock songs that are chaotic with all this crazy structuring and whatnot in terms of like the song, song time signatures and things, then the vocals are like buried inside underneath all this stuff happening around it. And it still all sounds like it's cohesive and belongs on the same album. That is definitely a very hard thing to do, and I believe they've nailed that. Like, I don't feel like those songs coming from one after the next, having a slow song where the vocals are like the loudest thing you're hearing, to then the next track, the vocals are buried inside of this chaotic mix. That is very hard to do, and I believe they did a fantastic job. That's great. The first couple tracks were really interesting. I think the third track was just gorgeous. That was when the acoustic guitar came in, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. It might have been the fourth song. The first track was just that intro part. But the song where it kind of broke down halfway in the middle, and then it was the acoustic guitar came in, and it was just gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. And then that continued into the next track. And I think that listening to those whole first like 4 or 5 tracks together would be really nice. And then after that, you could kind of separate the songs a little bit. There was like a slow song and then that longer 8-minute song, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then another slow song, and then maybe one more to end this half. So very interesting. I enjoyed it, and I do think I'm going to take a break and call it good for now. All right, everybody, here we are. It is another day, and we are ready for part 2. Hello, everybody, and here we are for part. Hello, everybody, here we are. It is a new day. I have fresh ears. Haven't talked very much today to anybody. Haven't listened to anything very loudly or anything yet, so everything is nice and fresh. And I was originally going to have a different shirt on, not that you give a crap about that at all, but I sat down and it had like a little stain on it, which I didn't even realize. So I went and got a different shirt, and this one's purple. I was going to wear a blue one to match the blue lights, but, You know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Also, speaking of the lights, I did have to change the settings on my camera, so it's going to look different. You know, whatever. It is whatever it is. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, yeah, I'm not lagging too bad. Okay, all right. Anyway, without further ado, here we go with part 2, or a continuation, basically. We just listened to Absent Friends, and now we are going into School, introducing the all-seeing eye. In 3, 2, 1. Right away. Yeah, let's go. Oh, yeah. This is the sort of simplicity that I like. Yep. Love the drum loop, the drum. Maybe this is an intro, kind of, just a little instrumental for 3 minutes. Probably do some cool soloing over this. Uh-oh. Nope, there's the drums. Okay, we're changing the feel. What an interesting way to... Very cool. The brass patches on the keyboards, very cool. Feels massive. This snare drum's, I've got to feel like a little bit more snap to it, snappiness to it. Yeah. Really like the layering of everything here. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa. Okay, we're into the next track already. Let's go. Didn't realize it. This is Propergander. Oh, it sounds so good. Yeah. What an interesting tone that was. Guitar probably mixed with some, I don't know, very cool. Interesting distortion sound. Listen to that bass go, baby.
Day arrives, you gotta put out these fires.
step. Very nice. Something consistent in there. Shell shock. Bass is fantastic in this. Sounds phenomenal. Love the guitars too, though. I like that. This is awesome. I love the guitar's tone. It's very white noisy, but it's got a lot of gutturalness to it as well, if that makes sense. Very wide. Yeah. Yeah. Great. That was awesome. Loved that. That was maybe my favorite song. I don't know. Ooh. Oh. I don't know if I should count that as a fade out or not.
Live wire. How you doing? Well, time's up. Thank you for listening. Take it easy. See you around.
My heart is lit by flickers of a fire that's going out. Look what I've become. I hide within, without. Past the bullet holes of arguments. When the dreamers go to war, reeling from the shockwaves of things not seen before. Find a sign of life. I'm hoping
So the nice string sound with the vocals.
But you are just a siren. No, nothing but a siren. Everything you said to me, and the dreams I dared to dream.
Love this. Ooh, that was cool. Unsettling when things go or like, because you're sliding through notes that are not in. You're sliding through tones not in the key. So it's always a very unsettling thing to hear things sliding like that. Especially synthetic sounds, because a synthetic sound is such a perfectly created sound, you know? You can obviously have dissonance in a synthetic sound, but...
Nothing but a siren.
Oh, let's go. So far, this is awesome. I mean, I'm liking what we've heard today so far so much more than yesterday, although I probably, if I went back and listened to the first half again, I'd probably love that as well. And I kind of wonders how much of it has to do with the fresh ears as well, you know? Just throughout the day, a person gets fatigued. Just like anything, your ears can get tired throughout the day. And your voice as well. I could probably hit lows now that I wouldn't be able to hit at the end of the day. I will say I do enjoy these long sort of instrumental intermission sections of some of the songs. But what that does for me is it doesn't make it feel like a song. It makes it feel like, I don't know, like a intermission almost, or an interlude or something that had vocals at the beginning and hopefully probably some vocals at the end. It just depends, I suppose. But that was something I enjoyed the parts very much from the first half of the album where they did stuff like this. But,
The sun is setting lower.
more vocals.
Red upon the land. Now the journey's over. It's the silence I can't stand.
And the drums sound obviously completely different in this song. They're mostly focused on tom beat. But man, does it work. It's almost 80s sounding, like Phil Collins-y. But man, does it work. Yeah, this is great. There's snare. Maybe we heard it into the song up to this point, but I don't think so. It was more of a tribal beat almost feeling. But slow. Love the female vocals in there. Whether they were played on a keyboard or what, or sampled, I don't know, but beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. There's some like woodwind sounds in there as well, it sounds like, which I really enjoy. Okay, next track. Love that. Loved that. This is Moral and Consequence. Love this sound already.
Oh, you are just one more machine. Game of show, my circuit hero. Real to real and back to real soul. And transmission time to go now. So break out the war. Take my friends.
That could be guitar, but it could also be keyboard patch as well. Like, almost sounds like a guitar keyboard patch. Oh, just gorgeous, big, wide, lush. Incredible. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a keyboard patch. Could be guitar mixed in with it. That was such a cool little rhythm part in there, that was awesome. That was very cool. Ooh. Gosh, the sounds being used on this song are so cool. I really like it. This definitely feels more expansive in terms of the sounds and the layering than the beginning of the album, which felt a little bit more organic. Oh, and then just that floaty feeling. Really like that. So lush, the vocals, a lot of breathiness in there. Just gorgeous. What are we gonna do here? Okay. And we got piano too as a core rhythmic instrument as well, which we haven't heard as much yet this half of the album, but a lot on the first half. And the reason I space cut it where it was, by the way, was because that's where the first CD ends, and then the second CD picks up where we picked up today.
The sounds that you can hear are someone else's fears. They keep
And this song is 8 minutes long. Let's go. We're not even halfway through yet.
affect you alive. The thoughts inside your head. Try life with those instead. Hear 'em out. Enjoy the
Give me some cool rhythmic stuff, baby. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. I do think there's some guitar in there with it. Whoa! Woo! Sounds amazing. Oh, that sounds so cool. I was gonna say guitar solo, please. Oh yeah! This is so fun. Woo! What's this song called? Moral and Consequence. Let's go. Best song on the album. Whoop. A little part for the drums to shine a bit. Yep. Oh, I bet they had so much fun doing this. Love the sounds being used throughout. Mixed incredible. Everything's so crisp, so clear. Vocals again, a little bit. There we go, back to that cool rhythm part. Yo! Don't fade this song out. Don't do it. They did not do it. We've got a good song. That was great. Woohoo! Next track. 15 minutes. Okay, we gotta reset. This is Life in the Wires Part 2. Will this be an instrumental? And I ask that because some of their longer songs are instrumentals. I kind of hope not, but I mean, we just had like a 4-minute instrumental there. Right. Definitely the kind of song they could play at as the last track, or the last song live. love the organ sound. Something they don't use that often, which is interesting and kind of cool. It's neat to hear it. Woo! Okay. Oh, it sounds so gorgeous. Perfect delay and reverb on it, perfectly placed in the mix. Oh, and then everything just gets sucked out of it and it ends really dry. Love it. Piano. But the higher keys are on this side. It's kind of interesting. The stereo piano has been interesting throughout the album, but I think it's been consistent high keys on the right, you know, low keys on the left, but almost more of a, I don't know. Okay, new part of the song, it feels like, or at least for now. It would be too much if the whole 15 minutes was just crazy like that. You know, we need to have some dynamics in the song. Big bass, big boomy bass in the middle, mixed with the kick. Okay. Interesting. Almost like fretless bass in there for a second. Love the cymbal work throughout the album. It sounds fantastic. Ooh. Reverse. Very nice. Oh, yeah. Let's go, baby. I like the flitty thing kind of flying around in the middle. Very nice. Not a solo. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I love that key part in the background. The flangey chorus effect on it. Electric piano type thing. That automatically gives it almost like a 80s slow jam type of vibe. Vocal harmony is beautiful. Oh, yes. This is great. We're halfway through only about, a little over. Yes. The fact that everything can have such different effects on it is so cool. Every solo part, every synth part, like, it's really complex. Nice. That was an awesome transition. I love the just... Uh-oh. Morse code's back. Like Life in the Wires Part 1. Oh, it's so cool to incorporate that. I wonder what it's saying. I guarantee that they have it saying something. Oh, that just sound... Oh.
Face the five and face your fear.
This could be like referencing the first Life in the Wires Part 1, but I don't remember it. I feel this vaguely familiar with the way what's happening right here. With just the sort of like palm muted guitars. Awesome. Uh-oh, we're getting some organ. Oh, that's so cool. Oh. Give me a whole rhythmic section based on this. Just tasty little treats. Organ-y type of sound, I believe. Or rotary organ, maybe, but without the rotor. I'm not too sure. Classic organ sound of some kind. Yeah. Yep, guitar with it there. I think it sounds like guitar. Oh. Yeah. love this. This part's cool. Just there's something about it that's more classic rock sounding, I guess, which I'm not a classic rock guy. I don't know that much about it. I'm slowly learning. Nice. Letting things ring out. We have a lot of moments throughout the album, but having a moment where flute patch. Or a real flute. Probably not, though. Sounds awesome, though. Oh, the subtleness. Oh. I don't know what the last track's gonna be on this album. We still got a minute of this one, but... Yeah, let's go. Are we going to end it with that kind of complex riff from the beginning? This feels like it could have been at the beginning of the song. That was so long ago, I forget. Last track, Starting Fires. Make it gorgeous, make it worthy of being the final track on this enormous epic album.
We know ourselves. We won't think twice. We're letting go.
So none of the tracks are completely instrumental. Maybe the first track, I forget what that was, but yeah.
We're making waves. We're starting fires. We can't go back to paradise. I'm done building walls and setting up fences. I'm breaking defenses for you as time passes by.
Setting up fences, I'm breaking defenses.
I'm coming around
Cool.
to the deafening sound of the truth.
Okay. I definitely like the second half of the album more. I don't know how much I cared for the, like, connecting everything with the broadcast thing.
I'm lost on a wave, no lacking in purpose, rough ceiling inertia the same as time passes by. I'm coming.
There's definitely some enormous reverby thing happening here in the background. which makes it feel a little bit more cavernous than anything previously we've heard. But it sounds very good, though.
Think twice. We're letting go. We're in demise. We're making waves. We're starting fires. We can't go back to paradise. We're starting
This was a good ending to the album. Something a little bit more palatable. That was just a fun, it's weird to say, fun little song. Very nice. That had almost like a more of a 90s feel to what it was doing, which is interesting and nice. All right, what are we going to do anything in the last 15 seconds here? Something.
Can you hear me?
You're looking at this world.
Oh, what are we playing now? The Pineapple Thief. No, thank you. We don't need to go into a whole new thing here. Okay, wow, incredible. Was that okay, this second half I definitely liked more. I don't even know if you call it second half, but from track 9 on, that's great. It is a little bit weird that they didn't continue, like track 10 or something is where the like broadcast angle of everything stopped. And so that was kind of an interesting thing, like that they didn't just continue it through. Almost feels like they should have extended the first CD a little further when that ended and then have the final like 2-3 songs on there. But then you'd have Life in the Wires Part 2 almost feeling like a bonus track or something. So I guess I kind of understand, but I don't know. I would say I don't particularly care for how they connected. I don't know. Part of me does think it is cool, but I do feel like it got in the way a little bit of some of the transitions between the songs. And then there was the 2 songs that faded out, which I almost don't think they would have done had it not been for trying to get into the radio part. I don't know why I think that, but I don't know. So, okay, so I kind of gave my thoughts yesterday in terms of like what some negatives that I had. So I just want to talk about the positives of this. First of all, the mix is fantastic. And I was thinking there during that, what was it? Morals and Consequences? Moral and Consequence. I was thinking there, like the complexity of, like if you charted out one of these songs, like, but specifically I was just thinking of it during that one. So we'll just stick with that one. Like that song had lots of different parts to it, obviously. And being a person who has worked in like a DAW, digital audio workstation before, like it's very easy for me to visualize like a session of a song, right? Maybe I'll try to find some images and put them up as I'm talking about this. But like you have your layering of the tracks, right? You have your vocals, your drums, whatever, and there's probably a million drum microphones and all sorts of drum replacement things, and maybe at all, I'm sure probably, and then all these other things just for the drums, you know, probably a whole session just for the drums. But like thinking about the complexity of we're going to have this sound, and that this is kind of the brilliance of, and one of the reasons I love bands that use keyboards and that use synths and that use programming and that aren't afraid to just be a band with guitar, bass, drums, vocals. And one of the reasons I find guitar, bass, drums, vocals bands to be a little bit harder for me to enjoy is because they lack the ability to have literally an infinite amount of sounds within them, if within their songs, if that makes sense. So anyway, without getting too deep into that, the brilliance of this was in the complexity of the mix. And I was trying to imagine the session and what the session files must have looked like, because there were so many solos and sounds you were hearing from a keyboard. Now, when you're playing it and you're recording it, right, you can just say like maybe you load in like, let's just say 10 stereo tracks, right? Now, probably you don't want to record too many, I would assume they wouldn't want to record too many effects on the sounds themselves, because that is probably something you would do in post. That's just, I'm assuming. Now, these guys could be a little bit more old school. Back in the day, if you wanted reverb and delay and everything on your sounds, you recorded it onto the track because tracks were limited, what you could do. Well, nowadays, I mean, you have, as long as you have the computer processing power and your DAW allows you to have as many tracks as you want, and then you eventually end up consolidating tracks to compress things down and make it a little bit more manageable. But I was just imagining, you think about, you have your drums and your bass, right? And that's sort of the foundation of the song. And then what else are you hearing in the arrangement of the music? And in the case of Frost, there's all sorts of keyboards flying around all the time. And that's great. There's also moments where you can definitely clearly hear like multiple percussive things happening as well. And whether those are programmed or whatever, or they just did a second pass of drums to have some extra cymbals and whatnot throughout, that is just like adding complexity and layering. But think about the keyboards themselves, right? Like you have the bass and the guitars, right? So just imagine, let's just keep it as simple as possible. You have one track, stereo track of drums, stereo track of bass. Now, of course, there's just so many things that go into this. There's probably actually 20 or more tracks of drums and probably 4 or 5 tracks of bass. But let's just say, for simplicity's sake of imagining in your brain, 1 track of drums, 1 track of bass. Then you load into the session 5 stereo tracks of keyboards. You go through and you add your rhythm keyboards for the section. We'll just go by pick one section. You go through and you add your rhythm keyboards. You can add some rhythm guitars in there as well. That in itself would take more than 5 tracks for sure. But let's just say, okay, we're going to have the thing that kills me about what we were just trying to listen to. This is taking me way too long to explain this. The thing that kills me about what we were just listening to is the complexity of the sounds. So you go on the keyboard, you find a cool sound, you do a solo, you record that into the session, right? Well, you want delay on that. You want some reverb, right? So you put delay and reverb on it. Well, the delay has to be to the tempo of the track, so you can put that on the effect itself. You can put it on the audio track itself. You could print it onto it. You could add the effect to the sound itself once you find the way you like, or you can put it on the track and then have a track that has that specific delay on it. And then anything you put on that track has that delay on it. Or you can put it on an auxiliary track or a bus track, and then send that signal to a bus track that has a delay on it. And you can have a delay that's to the right side. You can have a delay that's to the left side. You can have a delay that ping pongs. You can have, and that's just the delay. You can have reverb that's a big reverb, a short reverb, more of a room reverb to give something a tone, because you don't necessarily want to have every synthetic sound so synthetic and close. You might want to add like just a tiny bit of like room sound to it, or a bit of reverb that makes it sound like it's coming from a space or a physical place rather than just a digital sound. And so that's just one layer of complexity. Then to say you want to have another sound that you're doubling that with and pan it to the left side to offset the other first one that was panned slightly to the right. The complexity of what we're doing is incredible. And then to have like 5 seconds of a keyboard part solo and then a different sound with different effects on it from a different keyboard or a different source come in and do something after that, you are talking about chunks of complexity that are just so ridiculous. And there's ways to do that to make it easier. There's ways to do it to make it harder. There's all sorts of different ways that you can achieve what I've sort of been laying out and explaining there. But the complexity of the mix of this, I'm sure a lot of people would listen to this and be like, wow, the complexity of the playing, of the arrangement. And that's all true as well. But the difficulty of making this sound the way that it sounded and having everything sound so perfect. Nothing really got lost in the mix unless it was meant to be chaotic or sort of background sounding or mushy intentionally. Everything was crisp, everything was clear, everything was placed in its proper position in the stereo spectrum. Everything was just masterfully done. And I'm not saying it was the most perfect, wonderful thing I've ever heard in terms of clarity and in terms of the mix, but I can't complain about any of it at all. And it sounded fantastic. Like, definitely, if you took an average of everything that I've ever heard, and then you think of like the greatest like 5 things I've ever heard up here, this would be much closer to that than it would be to just being average sounding. So that's absolutely incredible, because the complexity, and just take one track and the complexity of that. And then I was talking yesterday when I was talking in between, and I don't know how much of that stuff I'll leave in here. I'll probably leave it in there. Maybe I'll cut it out and put it at the end here. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. But the idea that you can have a very chaotic sounding, big, heavy, not necessarily heavy, but intense feeling song where the vocals are kind of getting buried inside of the song, and then have that song end, and the next track is this much more minimalistic sounding ballad where the vocals are the loudest thing you're hearing, that are louder than the combination of everything you heard in the previous track. But to have everything feel, every track from track to track, or parts with its sections within songs, feel like it's all one cohesive thing is just so difficult to do. And it is done so well here. Everything just sounds so crisp and clear. And I think on Day and Age, to me, their album Day and Age, it felt much more like a band performing, right? There were definitely lots of layers, but I feel like there were less layers of crazy things or trying to be... You can hear when a band is having fun in the studio, and this whole album to me, but especially the second half a lot more, sounded more like they were having fun. And that is what I was talking about when I was talking yesterday about the Others EP. That whole album to me felt like they were just having fun. Like it was just Jem Godfrey having fun. And they used samples. They used, silly, simple rhythms, which is something sometimes a band like this can have trouble doing, being simple, right? Sometimes there's always the temptation, from what I've observed, especially in prog music, to be complex all the time. And for me, a simpleton who mostly listens to music that isn't that complex, at least not structurally, arrangement-wise, maybe there's some complexity to a lot of arrangements, but like tempo-wise, rhythm-wise, you don't have lots of polyrhythms. You don't have things that feel unnatural. Not every song is just but I do enjoy albums where every song is just but to have you can't have every moment of every song just be like right? You can't have that. And so to have people who are so fantastic at their instrument and so good at writing songs, I'm sure there's the temptation of how to balance the listenability and accessibility of what you're writing with complexity and impressiveness and technical prowess, right? And this has just done a fantastic job of making me want to bob my head and then at times go like, huh? Like I don't even know how to feel with this. It's hard for me to vibe with it because it's more technical and complex. But then to have whole low like ballads that I'm sure are more complex than I'm perceiving because there's no drums going on, but it feels like a ballad. It feels like, something, just a piano, someone performing, and then someone singing over the top of it. It just was all done so well, and so everything was so tasty. And there were moments where the instrumentation was definitely like, look at me, I can play my instrument real fast and really great. And then for me listening to it, that's fine. I don't care if you can play super fast and like, wow, you moved your finger from here to here real fast or whatever. Like, I don't care about that stuff. But because I'm looking at it from more of a mixing engineer's mind, producing mind kind of, the fact that it was doubled so perfectly in a lot of cases, almost nothing you were hearing was just a single sound. Now you can program those you can play those notes, record it as MIDI, double with the exact same thing using a different patch, that's fine. But like to have guitar double it, incredible, because you were having a human being playing a keyboard part and then like this, something crazy like this, and then you have like this too, and it's just perfect. There's probably a lot of editing that went into it. And editing was the thing that I did the most. And so editing to me, like micro editing, like cut a thing here, move it over, line everything up, make it perfect. It's hard for me to listen to things sometimes that are a little bit too raw. Like when I hate when vocal transients don't line up. You don't get any of that here. Everything is so perfect, but not too perfect. Everything doesn't feel like it's just some digital robot making music, right? It just is absolutely incredible. And I know I just went on like a however many minutes that was rant there of just like, but I want people to understand beyond the complexity of the technical prowess that you're seeing, there is a mastery of computer editing and it's beyond the performing. The incredible performance here is beyond the performance of the music. It is the creation of what you're hearing. It is the decision making that goes into how much reverb, how much delay, how much flange on the vocal, put a vocoder on it, don't, leave things dry, suck everything out, edit everything so that it goes, or let it ring out. There's so many decisions that were made that go so far beyond the complexity of a band performing a song. And this is why I love listening to studio albums and why I don't particularly enjoy live music at all. Because live music is all about the performance. All about the performance. And you can supplement it with lights, you can supplement it with videos and all this stuff, but from the musical point of view, it's all about the live performance. But this is a performance on such a different level. I know a lot of people love live music, and that's fine. And you connect to it, and that's great, and that's wonderful. And I enjoy live music as well. Like I watch live DVDs and things. I don't really enjoy going to shows that much. And I hate going to shows where people are dancing. It just is like, oh my God, stop it. But that's just me, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the amount that goes into this that the average lay person does not understand is so far beyond people being able to comprehend the complexity that it is just like mind numbing. It is impossible. Impossible. If you showed this to someone from 50 years ago, they would have no idea of how this was made. It wouldn't have been possible unless you had the 100 most amazing, greatest musicians sitting there and just everything was perfect. You couldn't have ever had that. And I just absolutely appreciate it to the core of my soul. Like, it is just absolutely incredible. And that is why I love listening to albums. That is why I think of music from a studio perspective, because I just think it is so impressive when done right. There are so many decisions that have to be made in a studio that affect the way the music sounds. Obviously, every decision affects the way the music sounds. But when you have something that just works, whether it's complex, whether it's simple, it just works. Someone somewhere made the decision to have that particular thing sound that way. And it's so much more than just I'm going to change the settings on my amp to get my guitar to sound this way. That is an art of itself that is incredibly important. But there's so much more that goes into music than just that, than just tuning a drum. There are so many decisions that get made along the way throughout the entire process of creating an album that impact the way every individual thing sounds. And this is so awesome. And I could say this same whole spew that I've done here over the last 10 minutes, however long, for anything I love, because I generally tend to like things that were more studio-made albums rather than like a live performance just captured in a studio. Those things are great as well, but like, man, it just is incredible to me. Just so incredible. All right, I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is a phenomenal album. We will be talking about it again in a month or so when we record our top 12 albums of the year. There's no way I won't be able to. I will order the CD as soon as I can to get it, to put it in my car, put it in my CD player, listen to the lossless files. This is incredible. Thank you so much, Frost, for creating such an awesome album. I don't know if I would say I enjoy it more than Falling Satellites. I think it sounds better than Falling Satellites, but the fact that Falling Satellites was what I particularly care for more in music, which is each individual song is its own journey, takes you on a journey from beginning to middle to end within each individual song. It's cool that they kind of flow together sometimes, but I feel like with this album, especially the first half of the album, you really got to think of it as the entire thing is one piece. And that's fine, but I like the second half more, that it felt more like individual songs with individual thought processes that had their own journey that started, went somewhere, and then came back home at the end. So I don't know. I think I would probably say this is my second favorite Frost album, but if I listen to it more and it grows on me, I could easily see myself saying that I like this more than Falling Satellites. And the Others EP is very special, but it's special to me in such a different way than this. This definitely sounds better than that. That is definitely more of a like just we're having fun messing around trying things type of thing, whereas this is more of a calculated effort, I feel. But oh man, so good. I could go on forever, but I'm not going to. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that I was able to use the music in it. If not, I may just cut this whole spiel out and post it as a separate video, because I feel like, sometimes well, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much for watching. I've already said it multiple times, but that is how I really, truly feel. Great stuff. I'll be recording some more stuff later today with Chris. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I will see you all next time.